Hey, what's going on, guys? If you want to read a funny story about me on mushrooms in Cleveland, head over to my Instagram. It's insane. At Heart Hands Mikey. Today we're going to look at the Collective's plugins, the Collective, their plugins. It's by Focusrite. I'm just going to get this right out of the way real quick so I don't ramble about it. You can achieve pretty much the same things that what I'm about to show you if you already took my advice and own isotope neutron or isotope ozone. And arguably, they're a bigger workhorse, they're more detailed, and if you're truly looking for a full solution for mixing, it's isotope neutron, and a full solution for mastering, it's isotope ozone. But these are great in other ways. We're going to go over that. Now, one more thing. You can kind of sort of get the same result as reveal by going back to my 30-day power production course and using the free plugin Span to show you where frequency masking is between, say, your kick and your bass, or really whatever instruments you're concerned about, but for EDM it's mostly kick and bass. And then using something like either an equalizer, a dynamic equalizer, or a compressor that's sidechaining, usually the bass line, to duck out of the way of the kick every time the kick sounds, or every time the kick hits, if you will. So just know that right off the bat. Now, getting into this, they only have 3 plugins. They all run for about $6 a month each. So right then and there, I'll just say this. These plugins, you rent them. Okay, you rent them. So, when you cut off your subscription, these plugins go away. Okay? Unlike Isotope, Neutron, and Isotope Ozone, Neutron for mixing, Ozone for mastering, when you buy them, you own them. They are yours. There is no subscription to cut off, and therefore then your plugins go away. So just understand that if we're speaking about this in a kind of a quick economics lesson here, at some point, if you plan to keep these collective plugins long term, you're paying every single month $6 a month for them. And at some point, I didn't do the math on it in relation to how much isotope neutron and or isotope ozone costs, but at some point you're going to tip the scale of payment renting these collective plugins. So what I mean by that is at some point you're going to start to be paying more than you would have if you would have just bought isotope ozone and isotope neutron. So let's say they're both $200 each. Okay, that's $400. That's somewhat of a big commitment for some people to have a full mixing and mastering solution that is AI smart, if you will, artificial intelligence technology being used. But here's the thing. If you plan on having the collective plugins for whatever, 200 if you just buy, let's say, Neutron, or 200 if you just buy Ozone, is divided by 6, or if you buy both Neutron and Ozone, that's like $400. At some point, these 3 plugins are going to surpass the $400 mark just renting them. And now you're paying more than you would have to rent plugins that you can never download, never own, and never pay off than you would have if you would have just bought isotope ozone or isotope neutron. So just know that right off the bat. But with that said, let's just say you need a quick solution. And you don't want the plugins clogging up space on your hard drive, these are great because they're only like $6 a month. So you can rent these for $6 a month individually, or I guess you could rent all 3 at $6 a month, which is 18 bucks for a month, and for 18 bucks you can achieve a pretty darn good mix. You don't need to have that experienced of ears. You don't need to be a great mix engineer. Why? Because they use, and they, meaning the collective, uses AI technology to analyze your song, and then basically, I'm sorry, not your song, various parts. You can see here, this says vocals female, so a female vocal, it will learn or analyze that recording of that female vocalist, and it will adjust the dynamics, if you will, for that, or the equalization for that, or it will reveal where there's frequency masking, which we've talked a lot about on this channel. Quick example of that would be your kick and your bass. If they're stepping on top of each other because they're both in the bass area of your frequency spectrum, you're going to have a muddy mix. Well, reveal shows you where you're having an issue, and it fixes it for you, as opposed to the free way I showed you back in the 30-day power production course, which is using Span, which is a free plugin to show you where the problem is. But that only shows you where the problem is. It does not fix the problem. Then you need to go in and either decide to use really whatever you have, an equalizer, um, to equalize the parts and make it sound nice, a compressor, which in my opinion maybe combine the two even better, an equalizer and a compressor, but the compressor will duck the frequencies out of the way of each other. So for example, it will duck the bass line out of the way of the kick every time the kick hits, or use both, or even better, use a plugin that combines both, like a dynamic EQ, hint hint hint, isotope neutron, to get the frequencies out of each other's way. But yeah, I mean, Neutron does this. Neutron shows you where the problem is, and also uses their dynamic EQ option within Neutron to fix it for you as well. So this is sort of like a mini version of the many things that Neutron can do. So if you're going to pay $6 a month for Reveal, to show you where your frequency masking is, and then have that have this plugin fix it, well, just keep in mind that Isotope Neutron does this as well. It shows you where the masking is, and it fixes it for you automatically. This shows you where frequency masking is, and also fixes it for you automatically. And arguably, Isotope Neutron has a much nicer look to it. It shows you in like an equalizer frequency spectrum kind of way, rather than, I forget what this view is called, but just to give you a quick example, it'll show you Isotope Neutron, that is, shows you in more of a look like this, where like, you know, the gray is whatever, one instrument, and then like there'll be other frequency waves here that's like blue, and it'll you know, you have to set it up in Neutron, but it'll duck the blue out of the gray's way so that you have a cleaner mix. But I digress. The point of this is, for about $6 a month for each plugin, by the way, each plugin is $6 a month, it seems like, or at least it is right now, you can achieve a pretty darn good mix, especially if things like analog dirt and character and things that an analog or analog simulated plugin will give you. If you're just looking for a very clean, transparent, quick mixing kind of stuff, this stuff will do it. And if your ears are not great, if you're not that developed of a mix engineer yet, I really think there's probably going to be a lot of hate about this kind of stuff. But this and what Isotope Neutron does is going to replace mix engineers, or at least it will help not great or not experienced mix engineers up their game big time, because you have AI analyzing your music and essentially fixing it for you, keeping a dynamic range healthy without squashing it, which is really something that can be hard to do if you're not real experienced, or you can't hear, you don't have a good listening environment, or you're just not that familiar with using a compressor. Well, the fast compressor will do it for you. You know, if you don't have a great listening environment, you can't really hear necessarily where the masking is going on. While Fast Reveal will not only show you where the masking is, but it will fix it for you. So, pretty cool plugins. I'm not sure I'm going to subscribe and use them, much more for maybe just a trial run, because I already own Isotope Neutron and Isotope Ozone. But nonetheless, this is something that could be very useful to people out there. But I've done a ton of videos about Isotope and their stuff. they have wonderful things too, and the nice thing about their stuff is they're not for rent. So you buy them and you own them. With Collective, when you cut your subscription off, you no longer own these plugins. So the cool thing, like with Neutron, like I just saw a picture of yeah, so you can see here, like um, you can see where the audio masking is, and you can tell basically Neutron, just like with Collective here, to use their AI model, or their AI machine, their artificial intelligence machine, if I could speak, um, to fix it. So it's kind of becoming a thing where, like, you don't need great monitors anymore, you don't need great ears anymore, you don't need a well-treated room anymore. You just need to pick a plugin that has AI, and really essentially, not to kind of sound like a hack, but let AI tell you where the problems are, and then use your better judgment along with the AI help to make mixing decisions. And again, guys, this is great for like EDM stuff, or like a quick mix. If you really want to dive into the art of mixing, this may not be the best solution for you. If you're looking to, record a jazz album or a blues album, or get an authentic 1940s feel to your mix, this new stuff that is super pristine, super clean, doesn't introduce any kind of character, tone, or distortion into your mix, is not going to be for you. But for someone like me, who basically just does electronic music and is trying to keep it clean and nice sounding on a loud sound system, this is exactly what I need. For people like me, I absolutely do not want an analog manly compressor. I mean, it would be cool to own it, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't really help me the way that this stuff does, where I can carry a full recording studio, full mixing solutions that are using AI and at the top of their game, and then also a full mastering um, studio using AI solutions at the top of its game as well, right inside of my laptop. So, just a quick video on kind of what AI is doing in the mixing, and to a lesser degree mastering world. But yeah, check those out, guys. If you don't think you want to buy Ozone and Neutron, even though I highly recommend it, this is a cheaper solution. It doesn't have as many options, but the options that the Collective does have um, are pretty insane for the price. And what I mean by that is basically AI. AI now is making up for the fact that, like, the excuse of like, well, I don't have 10 years of experience mixing. How am I going to get a good mix? Well, AI is quite literally shaving off the years that so many of us had to put in to learn what masking truly sounds like, and also what it truly sounds like in a bad room, on bad monitors, without soundproofing. So really helpful if you're in a bedroom or in an airport, and just on a laptop and really needing some help to get a clean mix quickly. So hope that was helpful, guys. I'll talk to you in the next video.